Mm-mm, mm-mm. What's up, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of I See You, a podcast that honors the light in people. Now, today's episode is going to be a little different, a little raw, but it's going to be a good one. Today, we're talking all about love. I'm your host, Toya, and we're going to get into some conversations about love, what love looks like to me now, what it looked like back then, what I thought it was, how I was performing. But all of this is really just coming off of celebrating Love Day, Valentine's Day, and all the things that day and that weekend might bring to so many of us. So get ready because we're going to get into some things, okay? You don't want to miss today's episode. Stay tuned. Let's get into it. I'll start off by saying love to me is not as carefree as it was made to be. Love isn't as carefree as it was made to be. Love is actually responsibility. This statement alone has it I don't know, it's made me think about so many different things, how I how I came to think about it in this way and what I mean when I say these things. I feel really called right now in my life to talk about love, what it looks like, what it ain't, what it is, just love in general because I'm really in a season of rediscovery, redefining. And one of the biggest things I've had to do is really redefine how I look at myself, how I love myself, and love really is to me. Now, it's been growing because there have been things that have happened as early, like as recent as a few days ago, that have really made me rethink about how I love, and what it really means to me. So that's why I feel so called to talk about it because it is I mean, it's so relevant right now, and it always has been. But I guess as you are, going through life's journey, there are certain things that really hold more weight. And I think for me overall, it's been love in every season, and it's looked different in every season. But let me pull this up. Yeah, I just feel a need to just discuss, right? So redefining what love has been has really changed my life. I think it'll be good to start with, for me, what I thought love was and how it looked for me. A lot of times when we're talking about love or being in love or just any of those things, sometimes it is not in reality. And I think that in order to experience true love, which I believe ultimately comes from within, we also have to be honest about what love is and talk about love in a real fucking way, in a real way. So, what I used to think love was being chosen, being needed. It looked like overgiving, like literally me giving from a place that I didn't even have it. Uh, I it was modeled, and so I thought, okay, this is how you love. This is how you show love. Now, what I do think is that I think love always has been a verb. Okay, it's an action. Okay, but that knowing has also expanded. But I also used to think that love looked like self-sacrifice because I saw that around with so many people that I've been in close proximities to, literally over giving, overextending, and sacrificing themselves for the sake of others. These are the things that for me I picked up that love was. So a lot of self-abandonment as well. It looked like irresponsibility. You know, it looked like having no boundaries. It looked like staying in situations no matter what, not regulating, not having emotional regulation a lot of the times, and forgiveness with no accountability sometimes. It looked like um it looked like being everyone's safe space. It looked like it looked like the act of performing understanding and performing love and performing these rituals for the sake of love. It also looked like a lot of urgency disguised as passion. Okay. So ultimately, also looking like anxiousness in my attachments. Um, and it also looked like attachment as opposed to like true connection. We'll get into that as well. But that's how love looked like to me in a lot of different ways. It also on another end, it looked like softness and joy all the time, and it looked like no confrontation. It looked like a lot of communication. It looked like, and some of these things are true to what love is to me as well, but it also looked like it looked unrealistic in a lot of ways. And I say that because, like I was saying in another episode, that the Disney and the rom coms and all of these things that pushed being male centered and pushed patriarchy and pushed all of these things that really take us away from what true love really is, and it has us centered around these ideas and and concepts, as opposed to what it really is and what it really takes, which is a lot of commitment and a lot of there is sacrifice, but not in it shouldn't be in self. As I was getting ready to prepare for, Love Day weekend, that's what I like to call it, Valentine's Day. And for me, right now, I'm a single woman. Yes, I have been dating, but ultimately, I am a very single woman, okay? I am now in a place where intention matters so much. And I remember feeling just over the years a sense of wanting and desiring this idea of what I'm thinking like love is, what it should be, what it should feel like, with a partner and just all of these things. And I would literally make myself sick sometimes and get into this cycle of feeling all these things, thinking that, I was out of alignment because of not having partnership that looked a certain way when so much was being pushed on, me, like, through society. And, as I grew in my mind, my spirituality, my um my wellness, and my physical body, and just my appreciation for different things in life, it helped me to see things so differently. And like during these times, I am intentional about pouring into myself a little bit more and a little extra around times that are, um, unfortunately, it's the propaganda is pushed on all of us, okay? And yes, you can be secure in where you are and how you feel about yourself and still desire other things, right? I know for me, I am, I'm a single woman, but I also desire, partnership, romantic partnerships. I do have lifelong partnerships, but I'm talking about in a, a different way romantically. Sorry. That is something that of course I still desire companionship in that way, but I I am making sure to be intentional in these type of moments to remind myself that the love comes from me first. I have had a battle with redefining love, but also loving myself, learning to love myself again. It's been a journey. It's been a journey and it continues to unfold, y'all. I'm talking about it continues to unfold. You know, I shared some of the things and what I thought love looked like, but I came to something the other day um as it relates to like love and redefining things for myself. I was looking at I forget what was it? Was it a podcast or something? But I was looking at something, I believe it was on YouTube. Yes, 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 it was on YouTube, but it was a podcast. And one of the things that I heard, it like stung my heart because it was a woman talking to another woman, and she was talking about, you know, one of the women were talking about her journey with losing, people very close to her in life at early ages, and how it shaped and impacted her and how it impacted her relationships. And one of those was, her losing her dad. He took his own life, and how that kind of shaped her, but also like the how her dad suffered with like mental health. And how the things that he used to do in terms of like treatment to her as a young child. And she was one of the ones that, would say something to him, and like she would, she wanted to still be loving and still, show up in these ways for her dad. But she also stood up for herself, knowing like, hey, you're not supposed to talk to me like this or treat me like this. I'm a child. Not only that, I'm your daughter, but this is not love, da 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 da. But all of these things also began to show up in her relationships and the things that she would accept. And what came out of that was she was accepting these things also because in her relationship with her father, she was the one that was the constant. She was the one who maybe numbed herself out or saw it normal when he had his different episodes, and she she was the one that was the constant, meaning she had to be a certain way in order to kind of pacify what was going on and make it to where he didn't flip out on her in order for things to be normal. And so because of that, that is a lot for a young child to hold, um, to numb out or to um to show up still when this other person might not even be fully there mentally, or they're spazzing out or whatever, but you're the constant source of like, okay, it's gonna be okay, um and it's gonna be all right, and da 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 da. But in at the same time, you're also pulling for this what you think is love from this person. You're still wanting them to comfort you and be your father or mother or whatever that looks like. So when I heard that, it really stuck out to me because for me, I can relate in my relationships with my relationship with my father early on, and me developing these my concept of love, right? So I felt like for me that was so true because I had to be a constant in my relationship with my mother as well as my father. And let me explain really quick. With my mom, I had I felt like for me, I was like the constant in terms of my mom. I want to preference this by saying this is nothing that my mother, I'm not saying anything bad about my mother or my father. I'm talking about my experiences, but I'm going to speak on certain things as it relates to my upbringing. And I know that these are things that my mom and I have discussed, and it is in no way, shape, or form a dig at her. So when I say constant for my mom didn't have the tools that we have in this day and time. I didn't even have some of these tools, right? So I'm learning, she's learning, whatever. But because she didn't have some of these tools, uh, in terms of regulating her emotions, that just was not a thing. She also was feeling a lot, didn't know how to put a name to certain things or know how to like process it and let it go. So there would be buildups of emotions, or there would be a lot of emotion. And for me, I felt like I had to be the stabilizer in a in certain things. And so I learned how to love in a way of being the stabilizer, and I would then take on the other stuff. So if so that it wouldn't be a big emotional blow up, so that she wouldn't feel a certain way, I began to not I'm trying to put this together, y'all, because I'm dealing with this in real time. This is something recent, and I want to be able to. I hope I want. No, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just saying it. So hopefully it'll make sense in the end. But so in that situation, it taught me to love her in a space of taking away my emotions to hold all the space for her and her emotions that didn't have space from her mother, from her father, right? So now being the kid of a mother who didn't have space, I'm going to make space because this is what she needs. And in that sense, I took away my emotion in order to do that. Yeah. In terms of love, it's like I'm going to hold so much space for the people that I love, and in turn not hold space for myself. So that was a concept I had for a long, long time. Okay. And in that holding space and taking and not giving myself space to feel, uh, it then also taught me loving people in this way means I'm going to be the mouthpiece for them. And I'm going to be the strong one for them because there was so much emotions, even whether it's build up or just me feeling it and holding it. I made it my responsibility to hold all of that. And if you can only imagine what that began to look like over years, right? Now on the other end, my father, who was inconsistent, not in my life, if you know, you know the story. But I learned that love was not only inconsistent, love was also cold. Love looked like it was mean at times. It was cold. It lacked accountability. It looked like avoidance. It looked like dishonesty. And so imagine this type of love. You're learning this type of love from your source, regardless of if it's happening to you and you're having a not good experience from it. It is teaching you about love. And so eventually, I would then partner with people who mirrored these same things. I did not want them, but because even though my dad did all these things, I still sought after him. I still desired things from him because I'm like, this is what a dad is supposed to be. And, all these things. And when I sought after and I desired, regardless if it was cold, if it was avoidant, if it was inconsistent, I chased it. I chased it because to me, love was bypassing all of these things and still, being with somebody or still showing up for somebody. This is what I was taught from a very early age. So from that, grew up, had all these experiences. I'm partnering with people in either romantic ways or friendships that mirror these things. And I still chased and I still wanted and desired what I deemed as love. All in all, here I am, self abandoning, self sacrificing, still overextending, overgiving, not having firm boundaries in most of my relationships because I'm chasing this concept of love in that way. And y'all, when I tell you, it's like all the things are continuing to come together, but had it not been for me going on this journey with myself and really going on this journey with myself and not saying the things but actually doing the things in real time, had it not been for that, like, I don't know where I would be. I am so grateful to have a different desire to love myself in a different way, and it's been a combination of things. I've had to have, you know, some come to Jesus moments, some spiritual awakenings. I've had amazing people that have that I've been partnered with to go through life with, to also experience things, and I learn from them, and they help me to see me. My mother, being an open book, whether she liked it or not. My sisters, my brothers, all of these things, aunts, uncles, this is all contributed, right? But going on that journey to saying, hey, something's not right. I don't really think this love that I have desired and sought after and experienced has been healthy for me. Because number one, I don't even really fuck with myself. I ain't really loving myself in real time, in real life, and in a real way. I'm like, this ain't the love I want. I don't want to be chasing. I don't want to I don't want to feel like I need to be chosen in any situation that I'm in. I have This journey has awakened me. It has shown me that there's always more to be desired. But it all starts with me, y'all. And it starts with you too, if you needed to hear that. But it's been a thing. It's been a thing. But it literally is all about love and that love that you have of yourself. I know that some people see, I always post a book by Bell Hooks called All About Love. It's been monumental in helping me to see the ways that women, Black women, our concepts of love, where they came from, and then counter it with what we need to actually be love. And that is starting with the love that we have of ourselves, how we see ourselves. Those things matter. And I think it's so easy to get into the performance of all things. It is so easy to perform. Trust me, I've been performing all my life, all of my life. I've been wearing a mask and performing for what I thought that I needed to be in order to be lovable. And that shit, oh man, it it was so damn chopped and screwed. Okay? Literally. Those are the things that, I thought I needed to be or needed to do in order to be loved and ultimately to be loved by a man. That's another subject for another day, but so that situation stood out. The podcast, it opened up Pandora's box. Okay, it opened up so many things for me, and I have been working through those things, and I'm writing about it, and I it's just been so good for me. But I want to keep reiterating, you're going to hear me keep talking about it, but going on the journey with yourself, getting in there with yourself, looking at the ugly, looking at the pretty, and appreciating all of it. There have been so many times where I'm thinking that I love myself and I'm thinking I'm showing myself real love, but it was not. Having all these experiences and going on this journey, um I realized a few things. One of those is like one of those things is love without self-trust is just an attachment. Love without self-trust is literally just an attachment. I don't want to be attached to anything because ultimately things come and go. People do too. So in terms of being attached to something, I I would rather connection, being connected, having experienced things and people. And that is coming together for me as well because really we're taught to attach ourselves to things and people. And the ways in which we attach to people, sometimes it pushes people away, being too anxiously attached. Um Being avoidant in our attachments. It also will push people away. It's just so many different ways to attach to things, but having that self-trust, trusting yourself, believing in yourself, if you lack that, then you're only going to be attached as opposed to connected. Where there's no self-trust, there's doubt, there's disbelief, there's shame. There's so many things. And imagine attaching yourself to someone or something and you have all that going on. Unhealthy is just unhealthy in it. And a lot of times what that looks like also is you see narcissism in that, and you get gaslighting, you get somebody that is possessive uh and obsessed with this attachment that they have to this thing that makes them feel all these things while carrying all that stuff. So unhealthy. I want nothing to do with anything that is possessing me, that is obsessed with me, that is dependent upon me to make them happy, to make them feel better. That was a big thing, a big piece of my performance in life is because for if I go back to like what I was talking about with my mom and holding space and um in performing, always being positive or always being ready always being positive, always being upbeat, always being understanding and considerate, because I saw what she was experiencing in real time and had no space and no outlet. I mean, not no outlet because she has friends, sisters, things, but it was a difference, a difference when you're in the house with somebody and you see these things and she's navigating relationships, but also navigating herself and didn't have the tools. I And for me, taking that on carried over, and now in real life, I'm performing that in my relationships. I'm performing being perfect Patty, or I'm performing being sunshine, being Toya that is so positive, right? When there is a whole other side to me that I also fuck with, that I also love, that I also understand. But because I have been shown that if I show some of this, I'm not gonna be loved in these ways, right? Because people want what they want from you, because a lot of people sought after my energy and my intellect and my vibe and my this and my that and what I can provide to make them feel better, to make them feel good about themselves and the choices that they are making. And it was rarely reciprocated, and especially in the ways in which I needed. But I also didn't have the words and all these things. But I just want to bring it all together, that I also, you know, learned to love all of me, the sunshine that is there, and it really is a real thing, right? It is. I do have that. That is me. But there's also it's also Janae. It's also it's also Lil Tooney. It's also all these people in there. There's also some anger. There's also some feistiness. There's also some aggression. It's a lot of things in there, and all of that serves me, and all of that is me, and all of that should be loved as well. And it is. It's easy to love, and it's easy to love. It's easy to love. I've had beautiful people, like my best friend, to show me and put into words in which I was able to receive about myself, to be all the things, be all the things. I've also had conversations with trusted women in my life, my mother too, okay, that see me, friends that I love, that see me, that tell me and say, "Be the full spectrum, Toya." But again, you have to learn to love all these things about you. You need to hear it from different people. You need to know it for yourself, right? And be good with all that you are and all that you have, in order to make a true connection, true love connections. If you don't learn to trust yourself and love all of who you are, you'll accept anything that looks like validation. That that's a big part in learning to love yourself. A lot of us go outside of ourselves. We self-abandon in order to seek validation, which is something that we feel like we need in order to feel like we're loved and accepted by others. All of these things that I talk about in terms of empowered mornings and slow starts to our days, and now moving without the urgency and the anxiousness, all of these things, they align because you, it, love looks like validating yourself first, not going outside of you to make choices for yourself, to reassure yourself. Everything should come from you first. It should all come from you first. Before asking someone else's opinion, what do I think? What do I think about myself? And if there are things in there that are negative that you're thinking about yourself, it's okay. Because it can be you can rewire these things. You can train yourself to really fuck with who you are. You really can. But it takes you getting to know yourself first in order to love all of that about you. Getting to know what it is about you that maybe other people love. Like, what is it? What is it? I know I've heard people say, "What is it that you see?" Because it's like when the people that love you really love you through all of your stuff, it's like, "Oh, man, what what is it?" But it's like you have to know that for yourself. You gotta know that for yourself. Or again, that stuff will look like it's gonna look like accepting any type of treatment just to feel that validation. Another thing that I learned along the way is that yes, loving me and loving me in a real way is going to disappoint people because to others it might look selfish. To others it might look strict. To others it may look confusing and they might not understand, but again, it is not for them to understand. It is not for people to understand. It is for them to see. They can make a determination if they want to mess with it, but it ain't for them to understand all the time. And the more that you develop and build that love for yourself, the more strict you are going to be, the more selfish you might become, the more boundaries you're going to make sure to implement because you're doing it with yourself. You know what I mean? This weekend, I made sure to slow down. I went, um, I did some beauty things that I had been wanting to do. Some I took out my journal because I had not been able to write, which helps to give me relief. It helps me to communicate and and just take things off of me and out of my mind. I rested. I went to some stores to look at things that I like. And I also went and tried on clothes and put together things that fueled me creatively. I kept my focus on me and the things that I love about myself. And I made sure to big up myself during this time. Yeah, it was a combination of things that I did to, like, show myself love and be the love that I also desired. And I went, out in nature. I went on me a walk and, I was talking to God and I was listening to good music and I was moving my body. And I also got a surprise from getting joined on the walk by her little baby that he is just the cutest little thing. But that was something that just randomly happened. Also giving her time to go do stuff that she needs to do. It took nothing from me and it just added to a beautiful day of love. You know what I'm saying? Getting love from a little baby is always so amazing. But yeah, so that those things happened and took place, but ultimately I just did the things that I wanted to do, that I was blessed to do, slowed down, showed myself love. You know what I'm saying? In the smallest of ways and just acknowledge me. I acknowledge me. I acknowledge the love that I have been blessed to have as well, because that is a thing. All of my relationships that I've had with people, um, like I literally have experienced love. But I think the irresponsible part, and I heard this, someone said this, and I was like, yes. They were basically saying that when this idea of falling in love, it is so irresponsible because ain't nothing irresponsible about choosing to love somebody in that way. It is a commitment. It's nothing it's nothing irresponsible about committing to yourself or someone. So when I look back and I'm like, when you use that term, it usually means like, oh, I'm so in love that I can't think straight. I can't move and be without this person. I become codependent. I lose focus on me and the things I desire, my goals. Um, I am I'm not it's like I'm careless. And as I've grown and I my understanding of life and love has grown and has changed, it's nothing like that. It's actually very much so intention behind it, accountability, right? Yes, it can feel good and it's fun, but it's also it takes so much more to be committed, to be responsible to for loving yourself first, but also loving someone in a healthy way. So, I loved hearing that as well. Like, yeah, I ain't falling in nothing. When I make a choice to love somebody, it is intentional and it is real. Just like it is when I am loving myself, I take it very seriously. So like now that concept has totally shifted and I love hearing things like that so that I can form my own understanding and knowing and like apply it to where I am in life. So So for the sake of love season, love day, I'm gonna do my playlist drop. So I'm gonna share 3 songs that I'm sitting with this week. Mm. Okay. So song number one that you absolutely need to revisit or play or hear. Okay. India Ari's Brown Skin. Y'all, first of all, India, her music, I was a young girl when I was put on to her music. I'm a neo soul girl. I do love neo soul, but hearing the lyric, I've always leaned into the lyrics, the bass, the mute, the instruments, all of these things, and that song, just replaying it right now where I am in my life. That and I am ready to love. Beautiful, beautiful songs. But brown skin, you talking about sexy. It's a sexy song. Like, and it makes me think of ooh, I love me some black people, beautiful black people. But listen to that song, y'all. And now songs when you get to a certain space, certain age, you can relate them to anything, like pieces of it as well. And I just think it's a beautiful song. And it just gives you all the things. It definitely could be exceptionally sexy for Love Day weekend, okay? So, but listen to the words. She's saying brown skin, I love your brown skin. How this brown skin is like magnetic and it pulls her in, it pulls them into each other. And the magic that happens, you know what I'm saying? And how it takes her higher. And when you think about those things and in the ways in which she's describing it, it's like, you know what? When you feel that with somebody, okay, it feel good. It feels amazing. It feels so good. But brown skin, it's a vibe. Turn it up in your car, listen to it. It just do something for the girl. It do something for the girl. Okay. So I would say brown skin by India. I think I'll relate this one to where I am in life as it relates to me loving myself. I'm going with Stevie Wonder as I'll be loving you always. When I tell you, and I've said this before, that song makes me cry at any stage of life that I am in. And as I am learning to adore myself in all of me, it means so much more to me because the way that he's describing um, loving someone, it is so deep and it is limitless and it goes it's like beyond infinity. But that's how I always wanted to feel about myself, and I hadn't been for a long time. Through the performance and all these things and these different lenses, you know, I didn't realize how unworthy, how I thought I was so unworthy of love, and loving all of me and showing all of me to those who deserve to see it, and giving access to the people who deserve the access, right? But when I think about that song by Stevie Wonder, it's beautifully made. It's beautifully, the way that he sings anyway is just so melodic and crisp, and just, it's just so beautiful. But listen to that song as AS, okay? Um, and how he, it's just a beautiful, like, depiction of like what you know love to be. And he's talking about in different ways, but I relate it to myself. I relate it to God. I relate it to people that I really truly like, I love in a real way, my family, my friends. Um, but yeah, so that's my second drop. My third jam, okay? And let me see what I've been listening to, because I will listen to some junk over and over, okay? Name Sasha Kebo, forgive me for the pronunciation, but Sasha, and it's called Nobody. It's off of her new, I think it's an EP or album, whichever one, but it's a vibe. Okay, because sometimes you got to get into those spaces and you got to get in your bag where you talking your shit. And sometimes you got to use that ego that's inside, and you got to give it to a bitch, or you got to give it to a motherfucker. Okay. And sometimes when I'm in that zone, it's like, can't nobody do it like me. And I put that on, it's on my mama. That's on my mama. Nobody can do it like me. Okay. But nah, I love the way she story tells in the song. It's a good song. She's a great singer, and it's a vibe. So it's a new song too. Those other songs are older songs, but I would say Nobody by Sasha Cable. Okay. So if you haven't heard, go listen to those tracks. Let me know what you think, and tell me some of y'all favorite songs that y'all been listening to this week as well. Okay. Or even the last 2 weeks for the entire February so far. All right. Okay. Love looks like, of course, right now it's like really, it's honesty, and a lot more honesty. Honesty, slowness. Now, what a blessing it is to slow down. And I mean slow down in life in every way possible, because I realize that when I have the luxury of moving at a slower rate, I have more time to think. I have more time to take pauses, which are natural, before I speak, before I do, um, before I respond. It gives me time to get the clarity that I need, but it also gives me time to be clear and tune into my God given abilities, like my intuition, to guide me. It gives me a moment to tap in and go within to where I know God is and lives, and I can also be guided in that way. When I am rushing, I am not showing myself love. I am clumsier. I am irritable. I am less patient. I want to be able to give myself everything that I have performed to give to others. I deserve that. That's what real love is for me and what it has become. Giving me all the things that I desire. It definitely can come through you first, and it should come to you first. So slowing down and being intentional in that way, resting. Also, being an entrepreneur, having a schedule that looks different, having time, right? Which I'm so blessed to have. But Also putting firmer boundaries on, hey, my stopping points. That's been something that I have been challenged with for a lot of times, but saying, hey, what can I physically do? What am I not able to do? Mentally, physically, right? Putting a timer on that, being firm in that, and also being firm in making sure that if there are things that I want in life that I feel will enhance my life and make me feel better, I have to give that time too. And not oop, and not inconsistently. Oh, y'all, I had a piece of my blanket. And not inconsistently. Okay. So being honest about what it is that I want, what are the things that I love about my life, the things that I don't love, and how can I get to the place of loving them, while of course loving myself. So it's been a lot of that. Now that I've kind of given you a little bit of insight of, what love looked like, what I thought love was, the ways in which I was performing love, and what I thought it should be and how it looked. And now I've kind of gotten into, some of the things of what it looks like for me now, what it stands for, what I think it is in terms of being that commitment and that action, and some of the things that it looks like. I also want to talk a little bit about some of the ways in which I've learned to love. Now that I am practicing, you know, loving myself fully and knowing myself, I've also had to be responsible with my energy and my love as well. And I've had to come to some real understandings about those things and not being a victim in any of this, right? So because I understand that and I am responsible for me and myself, and sometimes I have been irresponsible. But knowing yourself more, you understand the need to really be more responsible with like your words and the actions and things, your energy and who you are naturally. Shit. But I've learned that love, I can love myself fully. I can also love others in different ways. I don't have to give all of myself to those who just aren't deserving, to people. I don't have to give all of myself to people. And I've learned over time, and I'm still applying this, y'all, but learning to love from a distance, that has been tough for me. Even though if I rewind back, shoot, I was doing it. I've been doing it, right? For me, I just didn't think that I should have to. I know. But learning to not give all of me to people because you wind up used and abused, okay? And left looking like, well, what am I ain't getting nothing out of this, but them ain't even the people that can do it. They can't even give you what you looking for. They're not capable of giving you these things or doing these things because they don't even do it with themselves. That is a motherfucking, y'all. You talking about coming to a goddamn understanding. The shit hurt when you realize it's like, especially, well, me. I went through a phase, it was hurtful because I'm like, what do you mean? It comes so naturally in certain ways to me, but people are not capable because they are not willing and they ain't even doing it for themselves. So how dare you think that this person was going to consider you? How dare you think that they're going to love you in this way when, girl, look at what they doing with themselves. They don't take care of themselves. They not confronting themselves. They not doing the work. It's a lot of signs, right? But because of those things, I've had to learn, and I have learned some tough lessons in saying, hey, certain people, you can still love them, but the level of access that they have, it has to change. I'm learning that in real time. If it's been told to me by people close to me, I've seen it, but applying it sometimes it doesn't click. It didn't click for a while, but now I've practiced it. I'm in the practice of it. I'm doing it with myself. Um and I've slowly incorporated it into like my life with others, right? And I don't got to announce it. Like it just happens naturally for me, and it feels good to be able to be like, "Okay, you know what? I do still love you. I wish you the best." Or have those people where it's like, "Hey, you know, we just we good time friends. We gonna go out, we gonna shake a little leg, we gonna have a good time." But that doesn't mean that you're gonna know everything that's going on, nor am I gonna want to know the same from you, because we're just not in that space. But when we get together, there is love and we have a good time. That's love too. And that is very much so real. And I've been very proud to learn to navigate that a lot better, because I was just giving to everybody and just was woe out. Didn't have none for myself. Just woe out, y'all. So yes, learning to love from a distance has been a true gem for me. A true gem for me. Loving and from a distance, also loving with boundaries. Being able to say no, being able to say, hey, the boundary that I have set. I have I'm learning to communicate those boundaries, and also when those boundaries are pushed or tested, like being firm in having a consequence for that, and removing myself, which is that is the consequence. It's my removal from your life or whatever that looks like, because people are going to try you with the boundaries. That's not the boundary, ain't for them, it's for me. Following that, being consistent in that, that is love, because that is showing me. For me, and I don't know, this is for me. I have to have real examples, but for things like that, I have to have hard tangibles that or proof of life that show me like, hey, when this happens, and then from there, that's the result. Knowing that now I have to make lists of things to show myself sometimes that, hey, this is the thing that happened, and then you did this and that was the result. And then from there, like it's like, oh, now I that's up, got it settled. So, knowing myself though, I know this about myself. So now it's like, hey, I can set the boundary, and I can also, if the boundary is pushed and it is not respected, I know how to remove myself. And from there, that is going to teach this. And it's going to show people that, hey, yes, she don't play about her. That's love. It ain't about nothing else but me. And when I show that, hey, you can come and play in my face and you can come and do these things, that's when I'm abandoning myself. That's when the love is not there, because you realize it and you see it in others. You see when a motherfucker don't play by themselves, they will, you will be gone like this. But it's like I've had to work up to that. And we're all different. So figure out your approach, figure out what it takes for you. But loving with those boundaries, it's helped me tremendously with self-love and loving other people. Loving without the access, loving without proving. I don't have shit to prove to nobody. And I think as I get older, it's really settled and I'm tapped into it. I really have got to a space where I don't give a about a lot of things I used to care so much about. I don't care what it looked like. I don't care. I ain't living for nobody else. I'm worried about me. I'm worried about the people that I love in a real way. I don't got shit to prove to nobody. And that has helped me with loving myself truly. Okay? Um and also loving without the urgency. Giving myself time. I ain't wrapped up in responding to nobody quickly or showing anybody anything. I have shown enough. I have shown enough. Okay? If you feel me, you feel me. Those are some of the things that love has taught me um, through self love. Okay? Just for the sake of this episode and talking about love in a real way, I want to I'm going to leave my younger self a little voice memo. Okay? And we're going to do so on the podcast. Okay? Let's see. Dear Janae, I want to let you know that you are the brightest little star. I see you, and it's so many amazing things that I see. I want you to know that regardless of what looks like lack, you have so many things and you are so loved by so many people. I want you to know that it's not your responsibility to take on other people's stuff. It's not your responsibility to be the clown or the performer. It's not your responsibility to be perfect Patty. Your only responsibility is to be all of who you are, to be free, to be creative, to be loving, to be smart, and to have fun. I want you to know that you're going to come across some amazing people in your life. I want you to trust those people, but I want you to use that little feeling that you get in your stomach when you get around those people that aren't good for you. Use that, steer clear, and stay firm in who you are. I want you to know that rebellion that you feel deep down inside is going to guide you and it's going to carry you through so many things in life. Keep that fire. It's going to help build you and mold you in a special way. I want you to know that through life, you're going to befriend and have friends, and there are going to be a lot of different groups of people. I want you to be cautious about who you give all of your energy to. And I want you to know that you're so special. I want you to realize that and stay grounded in who you are and be firm in the decisions that you make about your life, even when everybody else is doing something else. Be you, stay true to you, and live out loud. Just know you're going to do amazing things. You're going to meet amazing people, and you are going to be exactly all of what you desire to be. Don't let your traumas and your situation right now define how you move in life. You are blessed and you are already chosen. Keep dancing, keep twirling, keep posing, keep dressing, keep doing you, and just know that you are loved. So maybe love isn't about being chosen. Maybe it's about choosing yourself first every time. Maybe it's about unlearning what felt and what feels so familiar and allowing something healthier to feel safe. Wherever you are in that process, whether you're breaking patterns, holding firm in your boundaries, or literally just beginning to see things differently for the sake of love. Keep going. Keep going. It gets better and better. But it takes a willingness, it takes effort, and it takes true commitment. Of course, if no one has told you, I see you. And damn, it's so beautiful. Remember, you're worthy of love, but you must first show that love to yourself. And then it'll be mirrored to all the spaces, the places, and the people around you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being with me. And thank you for exploring love with me. I hope that you get something from today's episode. And I will see you guys next time on ICU Podcast. Peace out.